Sherry.
You know, that's right. We were just out here a moment ago, and we were talking about how nice it was and how it finally looked like spring, and it felt like spring last weekend, but we still have some pretty chilly mornings with some 40s and even some 30s in the forecast. So our buddies from Weston Nursery, Peter Mezitt, he stopped by the patio, in fact, to talk about what's appropriate for early season. Here's what he had to say. All right, we want your garden, your lawn, we want everything outside your window to be pretty this time of the year. And of course, we've got Peter, who brought us our own color. And you know, I love it when you bring props.
Yeah.
What are your props today?
Well, this is a witch hazel. It blooms in, sometimes even into January, believe it or not.
Really?
But February, March in most years. And you can see these yellow flowers, they're kind of ribbon-like flowers. They unfurl as it warms up and they close up a little at night, but they bloom for 6 to 8 weeks.
I wish you had been here a minute ago, by the way, because Peter was like sniffing them. He goes, oh, there's a little fragrance in them,
A little bit
even
of fragrance,
right now.
yep, and they attract bees and pollinators early in the season.
I mean, how big are these things when you
They get maybe about 15 feet tall.
Do you need
most
a truck
of them.
if you're going to bring one of those
Well,
home?
it depends how big you buy the plant you're buying is, but they like the edge of the woodlands, so a partial shade situation, and they're great against a dark green backdrop.
I agree.
Really stand
That would
out
actually be really beautiful. And plant number 2.
Plant number 2 is magnolias. So here's one that hasn't quite broken bud yet. This is Leonard Messel. It's a pink star-type magnolia. And then this guy right here, you can see it's just starting to form a bud. It's a purple one called Anne.
Okay.
And there's dozens and dozens of types of magnolias. The danger can be if they open up too early, sometimes the frost can zap the flowers.
Oh, anything we should do to protect them? If we know that a really cold overnight is going to happen, do we need to cover them?
You could cover them, that kind of thing. But most of the time they're big in the landscape, they're either going to do it or not do it. But they're a great early season, reminds you of spring type plant.
It does. You know what reminds me of spring? These colors that we're seeing right here. So you have perennials, you have annuals, you have shrubs. What are we going to start with?
Well, these are the annuals and pansies. I mean, they're very, very hardy, down to about low 20 degrees, and in some parts of the country they can be blooming throughout the winter. Here in Massachusetts.
And an assortment of colors as well.
Oh yeah, so, and some are variegated. I mean, you can see this one has a white and a blue right in the same pot. They're really hardy, and you can expect them to bloom all the way through June. And if you pinch them back, they'll actually keep blooming into the warmer months as well.
Now, I mean, do they like sun? Do they like shade?
They like a little bit of shade, but mostly sunny conditions, well-drained soil. And yeah, as long as they are in a little bit of shade, they tend to last longer.
Okay, perfect. I love that. I love the color. So what is this guy? Is this the flower? Or
yes, this is actually the flower right here, and it's called a Lenten rose.
Okay.
Or Helleborus is the botanical name, and they come in all sorts of.
Scientific on
yeah,
me.
sorry about that. They come in all sorts of different colors. This one started off as kind of a maroon, and now it's going to its green stage, which it does toward the end of its bloom.
Now, is this a low-growing plant, or does this one also get bigger and bigger over time?
Only about 10, 12 inches off the ground. Stays pretty low.
Okay.
And they survive year to year. Sometimes they'll seed in. So if you put them in the right spot, they do really well in Massachusetts.
Okay, so you got to put them in the right spot. And then we've got the shrub.
Yeah, this is Andromeda or Pieris. It's a little ahead of its normal bloom time right now. We forced it along a little bit, but you can see the white pinnacles of flowers. Attracts a lot of bees, and generally start blooming around the 2nd week in April. And it makes a great shrub. This one's called Cavatine, and it will stay low. You can put it in front of your house in a partial shade area, and it'll stay below your windows.
Okay, so any tips on taking care of these? Is there a certain time of the day that's better to water them? Should we not water them if we know a really cold overnight is coming for fear of developing ice? I mean,
you always want to make sure they go in wet and they stay wet.
Okay.
Plant needs good wet soils to get established, and the soils are the key. You want good soil that retains water.
Are you a fan of like fertilizing? Should we be spraying with Miracle Grow or anything like that?
Well, when you plant something, it's good to put a little plant starter fertilizer in there.
A little love.
Just a little, not too much.
All right, well, you made it look so beautiful out here, and I hope our viewers as well can take some of these tips at home and bring the beauty to their place as well. And of course, go see this man. We've got Peter from Weston Nursery. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thanks, Sherry.
It's always great to see you. And you can see what a great job they did with our own patio here. The colors really starting to pop now that we're getting into late April and even early May. And I was at Weston Nurseries just a couple days ago, and you should see all the colors. It looks absolutely beautiful. Just a reminder that, spring, it really is here, and it's here to stay as well. Back inside to you.
We are glad. Sherry.